Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming once again. Well, only video later on Rumble like I did last night, but I'm doing a special Saturday night broadcast. I should have put that in my thumbnail because of all the events that are happening. So, how many people will know that I'm live tonight? I do not know. Hopefully notifications are working and people will show up. So what do? I play some videos while people get in to settle down and get themselves a beverage of some sort. Maybe a cup of coffee or a cold brew, and you can still sneak an eggnog or two this time of year. So anyway, folks, I'll play some videos while we give people a chance to get in. It's been a long night so far. Trump has been spilling some tea after the big Venezuelan bust.
Venga por mí. Aquí lo esperan Miraflores. No se tarde en llegar, cobarde.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Corralled into this box where we either have to hate Vladimir Putin and believe everything evil that's said about him and love Ukraine, and there's no in between. And that reminds me a lot of you're either a white supremacist or you go with the Democrat narrative on everything under the sun.
The most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today, white supremacy.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
I mean, there's as much interference here as you could possibly imagine. Before you even get to Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, John Kerry, Mitt Romney, and all of their children who earn millions from Ukrainian gas companies. These days, it's hard to believe anything because they've lied about COVID, they lied about Russia collusion, they lied about the Ukraine impeachment trial, and there's so much more going on in Ukraine that nobody is talking about.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
My job as a journalist is to try to understand what is the truth here. I don't like being lied to, and we're being lied to on an epic scale. When we're told your only choice is you have to be 100% with Zelensky. Slava Ukraina. The puppet who you can find on the internet in black stilettos and leather pants. Zelensky was selected, like so many of our leaders. And honestly, with big tech and with election fraud these days, we don't know how many leaders all around the world have been selected for us and weren't actually voted in.
How to build back better.
We have to build back better.
Build back better.
If Donald Trump gets the Republican nomination, there are many of us that will move heaven and earth to ensure he doesn't win.
We are fighting the same battles all over the world. To pretend that this war is about Russia and Ukraine is a barefaced lie. Putin has been warning for 15 years that he is not going to stand by while the globalists take over the world, build bioweapons facilities and whatever else they're doing in Ukraine. Ukraine has been a center of money laundering for many of the leaders in this country. Billions of US dollars have been laundered through Ukraine, and we say nothing about it. Does nobody question these things? We have an idiot like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman.
Mr. Vindman.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
Do you always insist on civilians calling you by your rank?
And sits there as a lieutenant colonel. He didn't even make colonel. And he's telling the president of the United States what his policy should be. You have a traitor in the form of Maria Yovanovitch, who was Obama's ambassador, who's telling Ukrainian government officials, don't listen to the will of the American people.
In his July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, the president badmouthed Yovanovitch, calling her bad news.
I was shocked, absolutely shocked.
And then she's given a cushy job for life at Georgetown University, and we're told that the president of the United States cannot say to his foreign counterparts that we want you to look into something.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. And they put in place someone who was solid.
So much hypocrisy and dishonesty here, and Ukraine is at the center of it all.
You want to play this? Okay. Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Well, think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he perceives as
jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man. Nice to see you. Who came to see me tonight? Let me see who all's here this evening. And I can't believe one of the questions I read in the chats, but I know it is a maybe a confusing title. We shall see. So let's see who all came to see me. And remember now, somebody comes to chat, causing trouble. Let me talk to him. Sissy, how you doing? Sherry. Whoa, gosh. Man, these chats are jumping. Sissy, Sherry, Pappy, Randy, Miss Minder Sue. Nice to see you. Robin's here. And Pappy Two Bears. Nice to see you, darling. See you, Marla. Where you been? Sherry's here. Larry's here. Larry's saying, who's who? I'll get to you in a minute, Larry. So who I don't want to miss anybody. Kim's here. All right. Sparky, nice to see you. All right, we're going on down the line. See, Debbie's here. And how many Debbies we got? Colette, nice to see you. And okay, let's go. Let's go to here. Ann's here. Justin's here. Oh, he's ready to roll. India Rubber Toes here. Angela's here. Nice to see everybody. What was the question? Who overthrew the U.S. government? Well, according to Donald Trump, same people that threw over the California government, same people that threw over the Arizona government, same people that overthrew the Colorado government. Where do you want to stop at? Maine, Illinois, Minnesota? Anywhere there. They overthrew the government of Donald J. Trump in 2020. And Donald Trump was furiously posting on Truth Social after the news of the arrest. So much so, I thought, oh my gosh, I go live tonight. I got all this video to play about Donald Trump doing a press conference, about Marco Rubio in the press conference, about Raising Cain in the press conference. Oh my gosh, everybody, Hankseth, oh wow, oh God, I got to copy all this over and say, I'm going to do a special. I was watching the world go by as I was awake and looking at posts and going, oh boy, here we go. 2 o'clock in the morning. And, the liberals were going crazy. And I was saying, he. And I didn't think they would arrest him that night. I thought it would be some kind of thing where, like with Manuel Noriega, where they had to surround his house and play rock music or put up AI nudes of Rosie O'Donnell whenever he looked out the window to get him to just. No, they went in there in a timed operation and got him out. All kinds of stuff going around about, oh, well, the picture I got on the screen, it's not the same as the picture. So that's an AI picture. Here, this is the one, well, one of the ones where he's got a tracksuit on. Rob Jenkins says, for the first time in years, the Democrats are opposed to a Venezuelan criminal entering our country. But where's that picture Trump posted? Where he's in a tracksuit. You all seen it, what, 1,000 times? And hey, if you don't mind, I got a post from the 17 I want to go over too, which I'll do here in a little bit. But anyway, I want to make sure I get that one video. I don't play it twice. There we go. But anyway, this is the one. He's in a tracksuit, right? Everybody said, oh, the first picture is AI, it's fake. Or the second one's AI, it's fake because you got different clothes on. Well, let me tell you, folks. Let me tell you something. And a lot of you probably already know this. They learned their lesson with Hermann Göring, okay, in 1946 when he popped a pill, okay, and ended it. So, yeah, he was made to disrobe, and they probably gave him clothes he had that they haven't had time to inspect, or a loose-fitting general outfit. They know his height, his weight, everything about him. You know, remember the Cubos? We can hear you breathing, okay? So, yeah, they don't want to take any chance of him smuggling anything in his clothing, a tracker, a way out, if you know what I'm talking about, a weapon, a bug. So he probably had a full body scan, an x-ray, and had all his clothes changed out. Does that make sense to you all? Info, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Let's see, anybody sneak in while I was ranting? Randy, nice to see you. So I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but I was on a sugar high last night. I like to imbibe in my dark chocolate and peanut butter before my live streams. And I went a little cuckoo and had quite a bit, and I was on a sugar high. And it seems kind of like I'm on one now. Maybe I am. I don't know. But anyway, that's some messy stuff. But anyway, so they're all shaking in their boots. Because one thing Trump said, I could probably put the video up, but he said to tyrants around the world, any despots, whatever, it could happen to any of you, anywhere, anytime. And that was repeated in the Ruski news. So, I mean, everybody's got their eyebrows up in the air. I mean, Kim Jong-un, whoever got their eyebrows up in the air. What do you mean anybody can get treated like this? You better believe it. Now, does it seem like too much of a jump to go get some dopey mayor like this? Does it seem like too much of a jump to get some dopey governor? So Trump started spilling some tea And I mean, he put out so many posts up until the last minute when I was getting ready to go live. I was uploading stuff that Trump was posting. He's probably still posting stuff. But he's putting it out there in no uncertain terms that we're dealing with an international criminal gang, and there are people who have taken over the Democrat National Committee that are part of it. And the U.S. government was overthrown in 2020. He said it 1,000 times. Hi, Rain, how you doing? And I'll say it 1,001. And now maybe they can knock me out like they've done many times for saying it. Maybe they can't. I don't know. But we had a Marxist cabal pulling the strings with a demented Joe Biden. And they committed massive fraud and stole the election from the American people. That the Ruskies put up last night about 3 a.m. Said, not a plane around Venezuela. Well, you know what? Not a plane that'll show up on these civilian apps. Not a plane that'll show up on any radar that's not approved by the U.S. military, because there were planes involved, over 150. So that's why I was saying about, I don't mean to bash on Monkey Works, but I've talked many times of seeing 70 and 80,000 people. So anyway, this was just prior to his capture, his exfiltration. They have been infiltrating us, and now we're exfiltrating them. So, he was exfiltrated. This is what people woke up to. Let's see. I knew something hot was going down. I just think they didn't think they were going to catch him. And I watched Midas Trash Network. I took some clips of that idiot on Midas Trash Network, and I might do a separate video, just not a live stream, just a video on how these people, how putrid that channel is, and just call it out. Put it in the title and everything. Midas Touch Network is putrid. I don't know. So I'm thinking about it. But anyway, this is what people woke up to. Fox and Friends, I guess.
It was slightly busy, I would say. It was very dark all over, especially in Venezuela. The team did an incredible job. They rehearsed and practiced like nobody's ever seen. And I was told by real military people that there's no other country on earth that could do such a maneuver. If you would have seen what happened, I mean, I watched it literally like I was watching a television show. And if you would have seen the speed, the violence, they say that, the speed, the violence, they use that term. It's it was an amazing thing, an amazing job that these people did. There's nobody else could have done anything like it.
Yeah, I can imagine sitting there watching that. And yes, in the chats I see, they bombed Chavez's mausoleum. Give him the well-deserved middle finger on the way out. And they're lucky we didn't do that to Lenin. But they took Stalin out of his crypt. But anyway, that's another story. All right, here we go again. Now, all these lefties saying, Donald Trump, we got to start worrying about 25th Amendment. And he's fallen asleep in press conferences. He was standing next to Pete Hegseth with his eyes closed. The man was up all damn night long. Okay, well, you were in the fart sack, all right? And he was taking care of a menace. Now, you all are my witness about a number of things I'm going to bring up tonight, right? How many of you in the chats, put a thumbs up in the chats emoji if you know that I have been talking about the Monroe Doctrine for years. I brought it up and I have said, watch it. It's coming back and it's going to come back with a vengeance. John Kerry said the Monroe Doctrine was dead. It's not dead. I took a video of that. I have to edit it. but I will play it for you one time. And John Kerry's another clown in the hot seat. But anyway, how many of you all remember me saying over and over the years about the Monroe Doctrine? So you'll hear it in some of these clips tonight.
This is something that, gee, I don't know, it's amazing. And to have a few injuries, but no death on our side is really amazing.
Mr. President, critics will say that strong action can risk escalation, but history has shown us that weakness can truly invite chaos. And
yeah, so they could, then after Trump is up all night long, he's giving a press conference in his suit and tie. But before that, even, he's on Fox and Friends, but they put it out in little snippets, so that's the way I'm playing it. In an interview, probably while he's sitting there having his valet put his tie on and get him ready to go out in front of the world at almost 80 years old. And these idiots are talking smack about Trump's health and his mental acuity.
Just this reason, and they got taken out in a matter of seconds. I've never seen anything like it, actually.
And you were able to watch this in real time.
Yeah, and don't forget, I've done some pretty good ones in other parts of the world. Okay, I've done some pretty good ones, but I've never seen anything like this. I was able to watch it in real time, and I watched every aspect of it, and I listened to the communication between, where we were in Florida and out in the field in. See, the professionalism, the quality of leadership, the professionalism. General Raisin Cain is fantastic. Don't forget, we did another one not so long ago. It was called the knocking out of the Iranian nuclear threat, the nuclear power. And that was unbelievable what they did there. And this is something that, gee, I don't know, it's amazing. And to have a few injuries, but no death on our side is really amazing.
Yeah, you look at this, how this was pulled off. It wasn't pulled off. It was executed. How this was executed, you had thank God, no American lives lost. That was what burned me up so much at 2:30 in the morning watching this soy boy, little balding nerd from Midas Trash Network bad-mouthing Trump and having a hissy fit while we've got American soldiers in harm's way. I was so mad. I might do a video about that, man. He had me hot.
That we had nobody killed was amazing. I think we had nobody killed, I have to say, because a couple of guys were hit, but they came back and they're supposed to be in pretty good shape. But that we had nobody killed, that we lost no aircraft. Everything came back. We got it all back. One of them was hit pretty hard, but a helicopter, but we got it back. But it just was the right time to do it. We had to do it because it's a war. We're losing 300,000 people a year. We don't lose that much in a war, okay, if you look. And we had to do it. But he was in a house that was more like a fortress than a house. It had steel doors. It had what they call a safety space, where it's, a space closed. He was trying to get into it, but he got bum rushed so fast that he didn't get into that. We were prepared. We had, massive blowtorches and everything else that you need to get through that steel, but we didn't need it. He didn't make it to that area of the house.
He got bum rushed. He got bum rushed, and they were ready with torches. I had some footage where they had some people outside with machino guns and a APC running around, armored personnel carrier, but there was very little resistance. And what resistance there was put down very swiftly. And I'm going to tell you that this shows there was coordination, whether it was through CIA contacts, primarily, I'm sure, DEA contacts, whatever. So as you can't see that on that boy's shirt. I mean, that young man's shirt. He's DEA. That's another thing that lets you know this picture is real. Hold on a second. Let me get you the original picture. Here it is. What do you see on the young man on the right? What do you see? DEA on his uniform chest. Okay. So that is when he was first nabbed. And then before he was placed on a military vessel, he was given during his stay on a military vessel or craft, he was put in clothing that had been inspected. So anyway, that is my assumption. So anyway, I did see the thumbs ups. Thank you so much, people who remembered what I said about the Monroe Doctrine. And we will be hearing about a lot more. And a great many other things that I have talked about in the past. As I said, we got one shot, and we can't go cowboy, and we can't risk a collapse of civility in large areas of the by people being beaten in the streets. Citizens are vulnerable to some savage things happening extremely quickly. And if people can't get there in time, it only takes a few minutes. So we want to reduce that as much as possible. Here's one more clip I got. Let me play it.
Good morning, Charlie. This is what we know. In a daring operation under the cover of darkness at 2 a.m. local time in Caracas, Special Operations Forces, likely the full Silver Bullet package, the National Mission Force, that would be Delta Force, the 75th Ranger Regiment, and perhaps SEAL Team 6, were launched from helicopters of the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, the Night Stalkers, to assault the compound where Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife were sleeping. President Trump confirming the operation in a post on Truth Social.
The Night Stalkers coming in the dark of night, the Silver Bullet operation. And got them while they were snug as bugs in a rug. And they had a delegation there from China who I saw in the chats. They didn't even tell any foreign leaders. You got that right. Happy New Year. There he is. This is something they put out. The Venezuelans put out, Trump wouldn't have the nerve to do it because, we got a Chinese delegation here, and I'm El Presidente. They wouldn't touch me. Okay. We'll see about that, pal. So they went ahead and did it, and China put out a statement. They were big mad. They said, horrible, terrible. Can't believe they did this to the president of Venezuela. So anyway, I was going to make a meme out of this or a thumbnail day before yesterday, and I didn't do it. I was going to have a caption above Maduro's head saying, where do you want to go into exile? And then put a caption above Khomeini's head saying, I don't know, where do you want to go? How it is when you're asking someone, where do you want to go to dinner? I don't know, where do you want to go? So I have that's what I was going to do, but I didn't get around to it. So anyway, there you saw it. Iran and Venezuela, buddy. What's going to come out is that the Iranians had a base of operations to conduct murder and the dir and kidnappings on our soil. The Iranian government, we're talking about drug running and this and that. Yeah, that's stuff, that's bad news. But the kidnapping and murders are from a sworn enemy, okay? He's harboring him. That'll come out in the future. Now, Trump put out some behind-the-scenes pictures. And here, let me put this one up. Here's one. While they're in the Situation Room, What do y'all... There's a shout out to Stephen Miller. You see him sitting there? Stephen Miller. He was there. You better believe it. He's a firecracker, right? He was there. But I've got a picture. I want to ask you all a question. Let me see if this is the one. I want to ask the chats a question. What do you all notice about this picture? Does anybody notice anything? I might have another one for you all to take a look at. Remember that picture. And here's another behind-the-scene picture. What do y'all notice about this picture? What do y'all notice? And that is like I'm asking, do you all remember some of the things I've discussed in the past? Yeah, that's right, Miss Minister. They're expecting a little infante, right? Stephen Miller and his wife. Miss Mendersue's on it. What did the 17th letter say? Sometimes it's not the photos, but it's who's in the background. Again, I ask you all, you're my witnesses. Do you remember me saying earlier in the week, or it was the beginning of last week, I said, isn't it strange we hadn't heard anything out of a particular person? We haven't heard a peep out of him. We heard about Pam Bondi. We heard about Cash Patel. We heard about Pete Hexus. We heard about Marco Rubio. On down the line, Christian Nome. Who had we heard about? And everybody's going, I don't know. And I said, Ratcliffe with the C.I.A. Boy, hadn't he been quiet. You all remember that, right? Then the very next day, what happened? Dan Scavino posted a picture of him standing next to Ratcliffe at CIA headquarters. Remember that? I said, ain't that 6 months? And as soon as you bring him up, you got Dan Scavino. And who is he? Who is standing right next to Donald J. Trump looking over his shoulder? And there you have Stephen Miller in the background again. But let me see if this is the right post from Clandestine. How many of you all remember me talking about Ratcliffe? Bringing him up out of the blue. And then all of a sudden, here you go. It's important to note that the person closest to Trump throughout this operation was CIA Director Ratcliffe. Maduro was a CIA deep state asset. We're talking black hat CIA, okay? We got white hats in the CIA, wizards and warlocks. It's an inside term. Remember that. I think Trump is signaling the house has been cleaned and the C.I.A. has been returned to its intended function. In addition, I think Trump is undoing the damage the C.I.A. has been used to do over the last 78 years around the world. The deep state network is being dismantled. Trump did the same thing with Iran. Who enabled and paid for Iran to make the nukes? We went over that in the CUE drops. Barack Hussein Obama and several others with pallets of cash. Obama, via the Iran deal, neutralizing Iran's nuclear capabilities, was Trump's cleaning up another deep state mess created by past administrations. Trump knows where all the deep state assets and proxies are, and he is uprooting them. It's actually happening. Trump is obliterating the deep state. From your lips to God's ears, my good friend, Clandestine. And he put this picture up. Ha ha ha. How many times we've shown this picture, talked about this picture, the Hessians and Washington crossing the Delaware. What did they do? What did he do? He gave them no quarter. But back to the what happened when our troops landed. There was some resistance, but it was very tepid and from a very select group of loyalists, and it was quickly suppressed. I have a video of some. It has a little music in the background, but I don't think it matters that much. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. Oh, not this one. Wait a minute. Here we go. It was called the Venezuelan Ayala Battalion did not fare well against U.S. combined forces. And this was a young man on the ground, or maybe a young lady. No, Jesus. I'm sorry. We say Jesus. Don't name yourself after the man himself. But anyway, Medina Ezane put this up. There's quite a few holes in that vehicle there. But anyway, he took a few shots around near that air base where this battalion was located. Yeah, it looks like they didn't even get mobilized. That is from inside information. I'm sure people who are sick of the tyrannical regime, they know the criminality. Remember the movie Valkyrie with Tom Cruise when they did the operation to overthrow Hitler? What was one of the first things they did? You got to remember, the Caracas police force is humongous. The civilian police force. Maduro was bragging that he was weaponizing, he was militarizing everything. Everything. From what we would call sheriffs to the police force to the people themselves to do guerrilla warfare and go into the jungles and all this kind of stuff. Our forces, the good guys, have been in contact with the chiefs of the provinces, police forces, and they got the message. You stay out of it and you'll be breathing, okay? And you'll have a new country. Enjoy it. You want to cause trouble, you're not going to be around. So in the movie Valkyrie, one of the things that they had lined up, and he was unfortunately hanged for being involved, was the chief of the Berlin police. Look at New York. They've got over 3,000 officers, right? So you didn't see anything from the local police force. And when they did show people outside the, air quotes, palace brandishing weapons and keeping people back, it was to protect our forces and keep crazy civilians from getting involved. And it certainly wasn't to protect Maduro. So those are huge outfits. The military is a huge outfit. Their version of National Guard's a huge outfit. The Caracas Police Department's a huge outfit. None of them to any effect entered into the fray, okay? Except that one battalion I just showed you and maybe a few other screwballs. So, yeah, the groundwork has been being laid for some time for this. Trump said himself that he was going to do it 4 days sooner, but weather would not permit. And they had an opening in the weather that was very fortunate and brief. And like Raising Cane said, only the best pilots in the world could have navigated through that successfully, and they did. So I got a clip in here somewhere of a woman from a commentator in Venezuela who's claiming that the most of the forces, half of the forces, were sent on holiday by Maduro. That is how confident he was that nothing was going to happen. And, well, something happened. What are you going to do? So anyway, I don't know if this is the clip or not. Let me see. Let's see what this clip is. Oh, no, that's something I was going to talk about the other night. I never got to. Bans on junk food for SNAP. On our minds right now, isn't it? But anyway, here's some people celebrating in the streets. If for any lefties are saying, oh, we're overthrowing the government of the poor people of Venezuela, no, I think they're pretty happy about it. Oh, they'll be partying in the streets. They'll be partying in the streets for days. And at the White House, they're protesting at the White House. Here's the guy in front of the White House gates. Of course, they can't drum up a crowd worth a damn. But anyway, Trump is a racist. We want Trump impeached. And this guy's talking about an illegal invasion of a foreign nation. What do you notice about him? He's wearing a dish rag, the Palestinian dish rag. Okay? I know in my heart of hearts that we've got these gatherings monitored, and people that are involved in this jihadist causes, anti-Semitism, anti-white, anti-Christian, the dish rags around their necks, and then jumping over to protecting Maduro and all these anti-American insurgents, Marxists are going to be rounded up. And if they're not citizens, they're going to get shipped the hell out. And that's what needs to happen. I mean, the time for games is over. Speaking about games, here's this character here playing games. This popped up on my feed unsolicited. I don't want this update. I don't feel like straightening it out. Swalwell says he'll strip driver's licenses from ICE officers. Well, I was sitting there thinking to myself, what are you going to do, Swalwell? When they start coming down the street in an armored personnel carrier or Abrams tank, okay? Or Humvee looking for you, all right? You gonna take their driver's license? You're a petty little traitor is what you are. And I will celebrate when you get yours. But anyway, putting out public statements, trying to instill trepidation and fear in our federal agents trying to earn a living and do a damn job. You got to come up, it's coming, boy. You got to come up, it's. So anyway, let's see what else is going on here. Oh gosh, I got some of the stuff from my past broadcasts. I think this is the one where you got to watch the language. But remember this, folks? People were reminded, first thing in the morning, people were posting this video right here.
Maduro offered everything in his country, all the natural resources. He even recorded a message to you in English recently, offering mediation. What could we do in order to stop that?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, and the police forces and most of the military got the damn message. They don't want to either. They don't want to either. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Yvonne, nice to see you. Who'd I miss? Jerry's here. Nice to see you. So, yeah, I saw the thumbs up. People remember what I said about Ratcliffe. Remember what I said about the Monroe Doctrine. Yeah, it's all coming into play. What is this one about? I think this is something Donald Trump may have posted. Let me see. Attorney General Pam Bondi. And she put up the wife, Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. What do you think, guys? Do you think there's going to be some kind of Boasberg-type judge on the TAKE? What do you think Trump ought to do? Terrorism, conspiracy, cocaine importation, conspiracy, possession of machine guns and destructive devices, conspiracy. So we're going to have to hear what's your defense? Oh, I was the sovereign president of another country and I had my own military. Oh, what the hell are you doing shipping the stuff over in our country? They'll soon face the full wrath of American justice on American soil in American courts. On behalf of the entire U.S. DOJ, I would like to thank President Trump for having the courage to demand accountability on behalf of the American people, and a huge thank you to our brave military who conducted the incredible and highly successful mission to capture these two alleged international narco-terrorists. So, yeah, that was... let me see what this clip is here. I'll try to play these in order. Did I play this one yet? Let me see. The Caracas, Venezuela live. What time is it? 10:04 a.m.
Compare this to Afghanistan, where we were a laughingstock all over the world. We're not a laughingstock anymore. No, we have the greatest military in the world by far. We have the greatest equipment, military equipment in the world by far. And you had to see this in real time. You had to see this, the professionalism and the bravery, everything about it. And you almost couldn't hold them back. It was like they wanted to go so badly. And most people would have said, I'll take a pass. I know that Charlie would have wanted to go because Charlie's a very brave. Would have said, I think I'll pass on this one. Let's watch it on television. So it's been amazing to see how good they were, how professional they were, how incredible the equipment we have is. I mean the level of equipment and to see how it worked so perfectly. And you know, if you compare this to attacks on Iran over the years with helicopters crashing into each other, the whole thing was a mess. The Jimmy Carter situation, which was a mess, and every other situation compared to this, nobody's ever seen like this. Look, the Iranian attack, knocking out their nuclear power was big. We had peace in the Middle East, and we have it. Without that, you could never have peace in the Middle East. We knocked them out, and look what's happening now to Iran, but we knocked it out. That was, it could not have been better, and this could not have been better. I don't even know which is, these are both really important. If you think about equal and importance, I wonder how it's going to be rated, but knocking out the nuclear power of, think of it, they were ready, they were within 2 months, they would have been a nuclear power. And comparing that to this in a certain different way, I think this might have been actually more complex.
Well, it's interesting.
That was
something that was amazing. Yeah, well, it was complex. Yeah, and people could have lost their lives. I mean, it could have gone south. You know, you get a few true believers, you know, and they don't care if they punch out the clock or not. They can do a lot of damage. But 90% of people are not that radical. But anyway, let me see if I played this one yet or not.
Well, it wasn't meant to be, and we're very friendly with her. She's a good woman, but the cartels are running Mexico. She's not running Mexico. The cartels are running Mexico. And we could be politically correct and be nice and say, oh, yes, she is. No, she's very, she's very frightened of the cartels. They're running Mexico. And I've asked her numerous times, would you like us to take out the cartels? No, Mr. President. No, please. So we have to do something because we lost. The real number is 300,000 people, in my opinion. You know, they like to say 100,000. 100,000 is a lot of people, but the real number is 300,000 people. And we lost it to drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada, too, by the way, in case you don't know. But they come in through the southern border, and something's going to have to be done with Mexico.
Yeah, you know, Mexico's paying attention, right? And that's another thing about Midas Trash Network that I might do their whole damn broadcast and make fun of them through the whole damn thing, like a reaction video. But anyway, they were saying, oh, there was no fentanyl coming in from Venezuela. Then Trump tried to change it to cocaine. And again, no, they weren't bringing any cocaine in. So he's an international criminal. He broke the law. Blah, blah, blah. Are they out of their damn minds? What do you think they're bringing in? Oh, pot? Like they don't got pot everywhere over Colorado, California, all over hell's half acre. We don't need your pot. Of course they're bringing in methamphetamines and cocaine. Are you out of your damn minds? But anything to tear down Trump, and they're running out. They're starting to look so damn stupid. But anyway, here's another clip of his early morning interview. It would have been early for me if I had to watch that whole operation and then talk on the phone in front of the world.
What do you think is next for the Venezuelan people now that you have removed Maduro so that he can face American justice?
Well, we're making that decision now. We can't take a chance on letting somebody else run and just take over where he left or left off. So we're making that decision now. We'll be involved in it very much. And we want to do liberty for the people. We want to, have a great relationship. I think the people of Venezuela are very, very happy because they love the United States. They were run by essentially a dictatorship or worse. It couldn't have been worse. It was a terrible thing that was taking place in Venezuela.
Yeah, there's one clip where he says, I don't know how this was allowed to happen for so long. Maybe it's this one. This is the last of the early morning interview. I want to put some of the posts he put up really laying out the criminality in our country. Before people had even time to digest what's happened, Trump is taking a big bucket of hot tea and dumping it right on everybody's heads. I'll get to that in a minute.
Well, if they stay loyal, the future is really bad. It's really bad for them. If they convert, there's a conversion factor. I would say most of them have converted. He's had very little loyalty. In fact, I noticed that today that some people are marching on the street waving flags, and they're very in support. They have American flags being waved on the streets. So, I think he's got very little support. Look, he was a dictator that the people hated. So I don't see a lot of that. I don't think we're going to see a lot of it.
Yeah, they knew his support was gone. They knew that the police and the what we'll call the regular forces were like, nah, we're not going to help you out, Maduro. And they knew that. I want to get to one post because I mentioned somebody asked, said, well, where was the overthrow? When did the U.S. government get overthrown? I want to put one of these posts. Let me find it. That Trump put up today. He put up a torrent of posts, a torrent. And one of them addresses exactly that. Let me see if this is the one. I got a clip for it. Trump posted this. During the 2020 election, trucks of ballots were coming from a third-party country. This isn't the one. I got another one after this. I remember getting taken down from YouTube for saying this company's name, Runbeck. 2020 election in Arizona. The witness claims she was there until the 10th. The 10th of November. And they were still coming in. And has no idea where the ballots originally even came from in the first place. Since 2016, the U.S. elections have been using Runbeck, especially Maricopa County, Arizona. Runbeck prints ballots, mails out ballots, and fills out ballots and counts ballots off-site with no oversight of election officials. They say they need this, quote, off-site company that has no oversight and can make their own ballots because of how big the county is, and just happen to need over 2.5 weeks after the election to count all the ballots. Or was this just how long it took to create a massive amount of fake ballots or run ballots through machines multiple times to, quote, beat Trump because of his massive landslide? Arizona finished counting over 2.5 weeks after the election. Florida finished counting less than 2.5 hours after the polls closed, despite having millions of more voters and being the third largest city in the country. Yes, election fraud is massive. Let me see if I can find a video of her. I'll put that up in a minute. That might be a little long. I want to put the post up that Trump put up where the guy talks about this CIA guy. Let me see if this is the one. Oh! Before I get to the CIA guy, give me a thumbs up if you remember me bringing up Emmanuel Macron visiting the White House up to his elbows in the Iran deal, trying to pressure Trump. And I was saying his time was coming, and he resigned. He's stepping down in 2017, not going to seek re-election. This is the only post of a foreign leader that Donald Trump put up tonight. He may be putting more up after I went live, I don't know, but he put up post after post after post after post, and then boom, here's this one from Donald Trump put up of Emmanuel Macron. The Venezuelan people are today rid of Nicolas Maduro's dictatorship and can only rejoice by seizing power and trampling on fundamental freedoms. Nicolas Maduro gravely undermined the dignity of his own people. The upcoming transition must be peaceful, democratic, and respectful of the will of the Venezuelan people. We wish that President Edmundo González Urita, elected in 2024, can swiftly ensure this transition. I am currently in exchange with our partners in the region. I'm sick of doing that accent. France is fully mobilized and vigilant, including to ensure the safety of its blah, 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 blah. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, yeah, go ahead and kiss the ring, buddy. Kiss the ring so you can avoid prosecution, maybe. Or just go to jail for a little bit. Let's see here. What's this one? Oh, I'll get to this one in a minute. This is about he dunked on Gavin Newsom. Truth explosion. Where did that CIA thing go? Let's see if it's this one. Let me see. This might be it. Here it is. Here's your answer. When did the U.S. government get overthrown? This is from Real Robert. Not Robert Reich. He's a little malignant dwarf social communist that served under the Clinton administration. Served. Ha ha ha. Anyway, you could have him stand in front of you and put a beer on his head. He's like no taller than a damn table. But anyway, this is CIA analyst Michael Scherer, PhD, confirms. Do you believe votes were manipulated, change electronically in favor for Biden? And if so, how was it done? The Central Intelligence Agency, the C.I.A. the Black Hats, toppled the United States government on November 3rd, 2020, live on national TV. Another word I would get in trouble for saying. Dominion deleted 2.7 million Trump votes nationwide. Data analysis finds 221,000 Pennsylvania votes switched from President Trump to Biden. almost 250,000. 941,000 Trump votes deleted. States using Dominion voting system switched 435,000 votes from Trump to Biden. Was it this when Jack Smith testified and said that the candidate who ran for the presidency of the United States, Donald Trump, did not have a First Amendment right to say the 2020 election was stolen? Let me see if this is the right clip here. I believe this guy. Yeah, remember I played that clip of Jack Smith last night? Saying Trump didn't have the right? Are we on top of things or what?
I've got to ask you, do you believe votes were manipulated, changed electronically in favor of Joe Biden? And if so, how was it done?
Well, I certainly do believe it, sir, because I saw it on TV on the crawls underneath television coverage of the election. At least two cases. One had about 12,000 votes that magically went from Trump to Biden. And another one about 20,000 votes. And both times, Trump's numbers decreased by exactly the number that Biden's increased. And so before any of this came about, I just had a strong inkling that something was afoot here. And the more they suggest that the intelligence service, our intelligence service, were involved in it, I tend to think that there probably was a great deal of vote marking by people when they found out how many votes they needed to surpass Trump in places like Pennsylvania and Michigan. I think clearly the Dominion company, if nothing else, it's foreign interference in the American election. It's a Canadian company. And it was storing its records in Germany and Spain for some reason.
Michael, who was behind this then?
Certainly appear to be part of the Central Intelligence Agency, using for their political operations overseas. They use servers and store materials and do other things. And the fact that the ones in Germany were held or grabbed by U.S. forces because they were CIA servers. And in Europe, the CIA operates under the jurisdiction of the military. And so the military was responsible for seizing those with the help of the German authorities. And those servers are now in the hands of the FBI, which doesn't make me very comfortable, but at least they're in American hands.
How many people remember that? Okay, those servers, what are they called? They're named after the seven dwarfs, right? Remember? And remember, Louis Gohmert talking about the raid in Germany on the servers. And Gina Haspel, I will get in trouble for saying her name, was physically there and was injured in the raid where they captured the server in question. How many of you all remember that? Please put a thumbs up if you remember that. Channels were taken down right and left for discussing this. Louis Gohmert himself admitted it. I had video of the actual raid on the CIA site in Frankfurt, Germany. And it was all suppressed because platforms like this were run by the three-letter agencies, most notably Twitter. So, yeah, we got some thumbs up. A lot of people remember. The Seven Dwarfs servers. And we've got them all. They are people are going crazy. They're going crazy because they're in the control of the FBI. Is that what caused Dan Bongino be shaken down to his soul? Hearing this kind of stuff. Now you all gonna flip over this. Hold on, let me find it. Something else Trump posted. Let me see if this is it. No, wait a minute. That's not it yet. That's a different one. Hold on. Hold on. Here you go. Donald, keep this in mind, folks. Donald Trump posted this. Give me a thumbs up if you remember me posting this just the other day. And I said, how come nobody's talking about it? I said, Tony with CBS, Tony, there's a story. Was Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman murdered because she voted against and was exposing multi-billion-dollar money laundering fraud going to illegal immigrants in Minnesota? I posted her picture. The fraud and the next day Donald Trump posts it. And nobody's talked about it for months. They caught the guy and he said Tim Walsh put him up to it. And nobody reported on it. Well, we've been reporting on it. Then Donald Trump picks up the ball. The fraud that she voted against that heavily implicated illegal aliens, specifically Somalians, who have been racketeering is what he's trying to say. This kind of child care, health care rackets, and cooperating with our corrupt government, ? And here's a video that Donald Trump posted the video so people would share it. One without the introduction or just the plain video.
Do you guys remember Melissa Hortman, the Minnesota state rep that had her life taken from her by Tim Walz's aide after voting to take away health care from illegal immigrants?
She was unalived in her home by Vance Bolter, who was later caught after a manhunt. He then sent a letter to the FBI and Kash Patel saying that it was Tim Walz who forced him to do it. Both Vance Bolter and his wife worked for Tim Walz for years in different states. Was Melissa Hortman unalived because she voted against a multi-billion-dollar money laundering fraud? The fraud that she voted against that heavily implicated illegal aliens, specifically Somalians, who have been racketing this kind of child care, health care rackets and cooperating with our corrupt government. And today it's breaking news that the money laundering scam in Minnesota of billions of dollars for healthcare offices, child daycares, Medicaid, and various forms of care agencies. These money laundering frauds have been exposed, and it all comes back to Tim Walz.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
Very shortly after this, she was unalived in her home by Vance Bolter. Vance Bolter and his wife worked for Tim Walz for years in different states.
Okay, Tim Walz. It's called the M word. M as in murder. Yes, murder. Tim Walz. And that was posted by Donald J. Trump. And we've been discussing these very things, and he does a power dump on Truth Social about everything. As I was saying, be patient. Things are going to come together. Things are going to come together. They are coming together. Here, let's see what this one is. Senator Trey Stewart says Democrats began creating kickback schemes during the Barack Obama administration, and it has continued into the Biden administration, and goes on with Democrat governors. He says they all are absolutely financially benefiting and getting kickbacks. Fraud by design. This wasn't an accident. This didn't just happen. It's a system that's designated by the left for people in their social circles. It starts all the way at the top. And that's what was on one of my last thumbnails with Obama. Picture of Obama. With the federal government and the Barack Obama administration, how many times have you all heard me say state, federal, local, I've said it 50 times if I said it once over the years, promulgated even more by the Biden administration. It runs down to the states, to the governors across the country, including Governor Walz and Governor Mills, even at the local level. Finally, somebody's singing my song. You see the bad actors, you read the headlines, you see what's happening right here in Maine, certainly in Minnesota, and I would agree with what's being said so far. This is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. Financial Armageddon. That's what we're heading for. Financial Armageddon. So did I get a clip of that? I don't know. Let me see if I got a clip of that. I'll play my clips. Some of them were so long, I said, well, I'll just have to read the words instead of play the clip. But anyway, let's see. I just had that one up. Here it is. Here's another one from Trump. This is all today within an hour period. This was ready to fire. They had these stories ready to fire after they grabbed Maduro. Breaking: journalists in Fulton County, Georgia. Can you say Fonnie Willis have uncovered a massive homeless ballot harvesting operation by Democrats where single addressees are being used to register thousands of homeless people to vote via a Soros-backed NGO. Remember, I couldn't even say Soros' name. Biden, quote, won Georgia by 11,000 lousy votes. And here's the video that Trump posted along with this truth, I guess you say. Anyway, here we go. They get the churches involved. Those.
Why would 1,000 people be registered to vote from one single location, 201 Washington Street Southwest? And when you come here, you realize that this is actually a church. What was happening when we were looking through the voter registration list from the previous election cycle is I noticed well over 1,000 people registered from one single location. Come to find out, it's a church happening here. It's actually a very well organized plan by Democrat donors like George Soros. George Soros poured in millions into an organization here in Atlanta that did what? They went around this entire place and signed up all the homeless people. It's during the day right now, so you don't see all the homeless people, but usually this place is filled with homeless people. So an organization that's to go and register homeless people to be able to vote from one single place. And to make things even crazier, if we turn around, this place is directly across the Georgia Capitol. All it took for me is to find the voter list and to see why is there more than 1,000 people able to register from one place to realize that something is wrong here. The building right next to 201 Washington Street is actually a Catholic church. Well, guess what? This place, 48 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive Southwest, has registered over 2,000 people to vote from one single location. And guess who it was? It was the progressive organization signing up homeless people that are literally right across the street. It's freezing here in Atlanta. It's actually 35 degrees at 1 p.m. But usually all of this area is filled up with the homeless people. And again, we're outside one of these mega churches that ended up registering more than 1,000 people to vote from just one single place.
Thousands of people voting from one single place. And, yeah. How much more is going to get dumped out? I've got quite a bit more. Looking like a long night. We've got Act Blue is going to be put in the hot seat. There are going to be people going to jail. I wouldn't be surprised if people were getting rounded up. By the way, I want to thank Mike and Bev and Aaron, the Godfather, Norm, Roland, Ann, and earlier today, Hilarious too came in to buy me a coffee. I do appreciate it. If you want to support the channel and appreciate my efforts, I've got a link in the description at the 117 mark of this live stream. If you all want to stop by, buy me a coffee and help an old man out. But anyway, thank you all for starting off the new year so wonderfully this time around with Buy Me a Coffee. I do appreciate it. So anyway, let's get on to the next post by Donald John Trump. These aren't in order. There's so many of them. Scott Pressler here. Do you see him up there? Donald John Trump. And, I want to make sure I make it known that the president of the United States is putting this stuff up. So if anybody wants to censor me, I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm not calling anybody names. I'm not using wordy dirts. I'm just putting out what the chief law enforcement officer of the United States is putting out. Scott Pressler just blew the lid off Minnesota voter fraud. He exposes a jaw-dropping stat. 500,000 voters. Nearly 19% of all voters in Minnesota were registered on election day. 500,000 people were registered on the day of the election. Let that sink in. And remember this. How many of you all, I'm sorry to keep asking, but give me a thumbs up. And have you heard this name other than when I discussed it just the other day? I would posit to you, no, you have not heard it, but I brought him up, Al Franken. How many of you were on my live stream when I talked about Al Franken getting in because they found some votes in some musty high school gym locker room, and he unceremoniously left office? A sitting senator. Well, now you're seeing it again. Remember this, Al Franken was elected by 312 votes. Now add this insanity. One person can vouch for 8 migrants. That's not election integrity. That's a loophole factory. This isn't close. This isn't normal. This isn't democracy. This is how outcomes get engineered. Minnesota needs a full forensic audit now. So once again, a name I brought up is brought up. Al Franken. Here's a video that went with it. I think this is a video. Well, it's another. Whatever it is a video Trump dropped about voter fraud.
2 F's come to mind. The first being fraud by design. This wasn't an accident. This didn't just happen. It's a system that's designed by the left for people in their social circles. It starts all the way at the top of the federal government with the Obama administration, promulgated even more by the Biden administration. It runs down to the states, to governors across the country, including Governors Walz and Governor Mills. And even at the local level, you see the bad actors, you read the headlines, you see what's happening right here in Maine, certainly in Minnesota, and I would agree with what's been said so far that this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. The other F is financial Armageddon. That's what we're heading for. If you don't think that the Trump administration is serious about getting a handle on this, you're probably on another planet. This is going to have implications for the state of Maine in the billions with a B of dollars. This will spell financial Armageddon for our state. We have got to get a handle on this problem.
And Trump is going to make sure that it never happens again. And how do you do that? Punishing people. Punishment. That's how you do it. Let me see if this this young man here. Oh yeah, this is the one about Minnesota. And I think he talks about Al Franken too.
Did you know that in 2008, 500,000 voters, or nearly 19% of all voters in Minnesota, registered on Election Day? What? And did you know that former Senator Al Franken was elected by 312 votes? So I'm not alleging anything on the program, but what I am saying is that this vouching system, which clearly opens the door for potential fraud,
potential fraud, yeah. In a pig's eye, potential fraud, all right? In a pig's eye. Oh my. What's this one? All of a sudden, we're seeing the man himself everywhere. Jack Smith tampered with evidence, then lied to the court about it to, quote, get Trump. This is another reposting by Donald Trump. That's not just dishonest, it's illegal. When do we get to see Jack Smith in handcuffs? Donald Trump posted that, and he posted this interview that Ratcliffe, who we hadn't heard of, then all of a sudden bursts onto the scene. Oh, just this Sunday.
Yeah, so that famous photograph, what we have now learned, and the government has had, Jack Smith and his prosecutors have had to admit that that was staged, and those top secret classified sheets that all the public saw and said, oh my God, look at those top secret documents, those were placed there by the FBI. What Jack Smith admitted in court this week was that, in his word, they mishandled the classified documents and misrepresented those to the court. Maria, that's a kind way of saying we tampered with the evidence Trump's lawyers and the other co-defendants raised this issue and said, look, the documents here don't match up. The documents that were presented to us don't match the digitally scanned records of when they were taken from Mar-a-Lago. And Jack Smith, not only did they tamper with that and lie to the court about it, but he's now admitted to the court that he doesn't know how that happened. He's only offered a number of possible explanations for how that could have happened. So he's absolutely blown the chain of custody. And again, he has a prosecutor, lead prosecutor in this case, Jay Bratt, who met with White House counsel and a representative of the National Archives several times in the weeks before Jack Smith was even appointed. This reeks of crossfire hurricane when the Obama-Biden administration fabricated evidence before the FISA court, lied to the court about it to pursue Donald Trump, and now we're seeing it again in this classified documents case. The judge could dismiss this case at any point in time, Maria. I think the only...
Anyway, so you got Jack Smith shaking in his boots. You know that. You got Tim Walz, this stuff being exposed about him, and an actual murder. A murder. Okay. And then you have where he's dunking on Gavin Newsom. Here's one of the clips. He had two clips about Gavin Newsom. Donald Trump posted. This is a judge. Hold on, I get to Gavin Newsom in a minute. This is a judge that threw out a conviction, a unanimous guilty verdict in a $7 million Medicare fraud case. Who paid this so-called judge? You know, if Trump is putting one judge out for being paid off, they're all sweating. I'm talking Boasberg, Macron, Mercon. I said Macron. All of them. Name it. Kaplan. They're all going to be sweating. Who paid this so-called judge and how much was she paid? The people of Minnesota should be outraged. Here's a young lady that Trump reposted her video. Wouldn't that be exciting to have Donald Trump post one of your videos that you do? I know he ain't going to post my crazy videos, but anyway, here you go.
This is Minnesota Judge Sarah West. Judge Sarah West was the judge that oversaw a $7 million Medicaid fraud case. And despite the fact that the jury convicted him unanimously, Judge Sarah West said, no, we're not going to be doing that today. Now, she claims that she threw out this unanimous guilty verdict due to the fact that all of the evidence presented was merely circumstantial. Now, what was this circumstantial evidence, you may be asking? Well, Abdi Fattah Yusuf and his wife were running a home health care service out of their home, and despite the fact that their business is inside of their house, they were able to afford all of these fancy trips and luxury vehicles and these thousands of dollars of shopping sprees. So the math wasn't really quite mathing. So not only in Minnesota can you absolutely rob the state blind with fraud, but even if you get convicted by a unanimous jury, a judge will still let you off the hook. Isn't that special?
Isn't that special? Yeah, that's real special. So anyway, here's the one about Gavin Newsom. Again, Donald Trump posted this. Gavin, Johnny Midnight, just wait till we see the massive frauds in California. That will really blow the lid off his run for president. So Trump posted this video. Gavin Newsom interview proves he's been lying for decades. Oh, really? Does it prove that? Let's see. Here it is. Here's the video that Donald Trump posted. There's Gavin. He's been hand-jiving for decades. Let's see what happens.
Let me start by asking you, where have you been? $522.2 million shortfall.
Working the line right now. We doubled the National Guard. We have 1,600. Last year we had a 570.
Wait a minute.
5.6. Hank, I'm here to talk about today and tomorrow. Not yesterday. I've been working my tail off. I've been out. I think I had 69 public events in the last 2.5 weeks.
You know, I heard you say that on the radio today,
yeah.
and then I asked your staff, well, where's the printout? Where are these events? And your press person said, well, this is stuff he just goes to.
Yeah, these are all public events,
Right.
yeah, so.
But look, you know the criticism that you have been dodging, not just the press, but also the public, that you have been sulking after dropping out of the governor's race, that you're having a temper tantrum. What do you want to say about it? You know, it's not just the press, though, that you've been absent from. I mean, I have a list of the events that you have missed.
Which ones?
Well, you want a few. The Urban Land Institute, you were scheduled to speak before 6,000 people.
I had the flu that week.
The China SF conference that was also there, they were counting on you. The Silver Spur Awards luncheon.
That was the only one I missed that I actually knew about. I took
2,000 people.
After I think you're focused on the Spur. I actually wish I had made. I was sick as a dog, and that was on a Monday, and was gone for 3 days.
Salvation Army luncheon honoring your chief of staff.
I was
Charlotte.
never scheduled to be there. I was at I was at 3 events at the exact same time.
Bullshit.
Off the record, I'm amazingly disappointed. Amazingly. I just am, personally, you know?
Yeah, you got up and walked out of the interview, you creep. Somebody put a dollar figure on Gavin Newsom's crap. $78 billion. Here's something for your meta page that you might want to get a screenshot of and put it on there. My kid's an owner student at Quality Learning Center. Boy, you can have a lot of fun with that crap. Here's a liberal freaking out right here. Listen to this pansy. Remember me saying I don't fall down on the ground to everybody that's served? Well, I'm not sure if this one is, wait a minute. Well, I'll play a little bit of it. He'll be talking about Trump being a no good.
This is why this administration has zero clue what they're doing. They're just basically following a really dumb man into a very dumb war potentially, and that creates very dumb outcomes. And so this is why you actually need to go through the proper process. I say this because it's very personal to me. I was involved in a very dumb illegal war where I lost a lot of men and like best friends of mine because the Bush administration was just trying to follow their ego. And this is exactly what's happening at the same time. We need to stop where we are right now. We need to not go into these expeditionary wars. And certainly we're not here to occupy another country. The American public does not want that. And I'm certainly not going to vote for that. This administration.
That's some of the characters. There's more to it. I don't want to play it. They're all just bashing Trump, saying this is a dumb war, comparing it to Iraq. Are you out of your damn minds? We went on overnight and decapitated their so-called government, their junta, overnight, and didn't lose one soldier, thank God. And they're comparing it to the Iraq war. Like this thing right here. Look, Christina Aguayo is reporting on it. Look at these three. It's 4 of them. Rashida Tlaib. Trump's first act in 2026. An illegal act of war against another country. Squad member. What else she say? Our government can always find money for violence and war, not a penny for health care. As much as you all have ripped us off on pharmaceutical drugs, giving away our health care and our tax dollars to tens of millions of savage illegal aliens from rat hole countries, I'll use that word instead. You got the damn nerve to talk about what we do with our money? Let me see here. What's this one? Yeah, I got one here. It's got Dr. Phil, I think it was one that Trump posted. Let me see what this one is, though. Let me see. It might be a video I played. I don't know. What's this one? Okay, Eric Doherty put this out. Whoa, come on. Fact is, it's been confirmed. Minnesota AG Keith Ellison personally met with Somalis and fraudsters to accept campaign donations. These same people are involved in massive fraud scandals in Minnesota. The entire Minnesota Democrat apparatus is involved. Did I get that video? Yeah, here it is. Here it is. The entire Democrat apparatus. Well, maybe not this guy. He's a Republican. He's probably ringing the bell about him.
Recently released audio recordings reveal conversations that happened between the Attorney General and individuals who were later implicated and in some cases convicted in the Feeding Our Future scandal. In those recordings, the Attorney General...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
State your point of order.
Masons 124, paragraph 1, in debate, members must confine remarks to questions before the body and avoid personalities. The debate here is not any individual. It is the policy and the amendment.
Representative Niska.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Attorney General was asked in those recordings to use his authority to protect businesses under investigation for wrongdoing, and rather than distance himself or remain neutral to allow the legal process to unfold, he responded in those recordings, "Of course, I'm here to help."
Mr. Speaker, point of parliamentary inquiry. There's a point of order, and I didn't hear a ruling or any resolution of the point of order. Was there a resolution to it?
I'll remind the body that there was no ruling made by the Speaker as to the point of order that was just stated. Representative Niska.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Attorney General in those recordings even urged the individuals, let's go fight these people. He was offered campaign contributions during that meeting, contributions that he later accepted. The release of those audio recordings raises questions about what's going on in the Attorney General's office that go directly to the need to pass the legislation that we had previously debated, House File 20. Although he has insisted that nothing came of the meeting, his office blocks disclosure of closed investigative
point
data.
of order.
Masons 124.
The A11 will help ensure that what happens behind closed doors in the Attorney General's office sees the light of day. We can protect people's privacy while shining a light on what the Attorney General's office is doing, who is influencing that office, whether it's those under a criminal investigation, nonprofits, corporations, or billionaires with political agendas, because Minnesotans have a right to know when their Attorney General's office is working with them. Minnesotans have a right to know whether the Attorney General is telling the truth, that nothing came of that meeting. That's why the A11 is so important.
Maybe we'll see an Attorney General getting some cuffs put on him. That would seem like a small trick after getting Oh, I'm going to put a boom in for Cole. Stop by, buy me a coffee. Pow! Thank you, Cole. Kaboom! I do appreciate it for stopping by, buy me a coffee. I for some reason I'm getting notifications now, and I appreciate that you did stop by and did. I put you on the list for this week, the first week of the year, and it is starting off with a bang, isn't it, folks? I put a link in the description at the 138 mark. If anybody else, but Cole stopped by, and usually I can't see notifications, but I did this time. So anyway, let me see what else we got. A lot of stuff. I don't know if I'll get to it all night. Condoleezza Rice popped up out of the woodwork. When did we last heard from Condoleezza Rice? Please find an update from my dear friend and colleague, Hoover Institution Senior Fellow, Victor David Hanson. He remains in our prayers. I wanted to share a brief health update. This is his quote. I recently underwent surgery to remove a cancerous tumor and am now recovering. I'm doing well and hopeful as I move forward. Thank you for the many messages of support and prayers. They truly mean more than I can say. As I focus on recovery, I may not be able to respond to everyone, but please know how grateful I am. So, a lot of folks were wondering how he was doing. One of them being Scott Adams. He did mention him. And here's a clip from Victor David Hanson. I guess he did this before his surgery. But again, it was posted by Donald John Trump. And who is it about? Gruesome Newsom. 2 missives sent at Mr. Gavin Newsom from the President of the United States.
Representative Kevin Kiley stood on the House floor and stated what California's own audit confirms. California is the fraud capital of America. Not hyperbole, not partisan exaggeration, a mathematical certainty derived from the state's own accounting. The number of agencies designated as high risk for waste, fraud, abuse, or mismanagement has doubled under Newsom's tenure. 8 separate agencies now carry this designation, meaning they exhibit serious fiscal pathologies and have failed to implement adequate corrective actions despite repeated warnings. The Employment Development Department that dispensed $32 billion to fraudsters, the Department of Social Services overseeing CalFresh benefits, hemorrhaging billions in improper payments, the Department of Finance that lost track of $24 billion in homeless funds, the California High-Speed Rail Authority burning through $18 billion with nothing to show but environmental studies and abandoned construction sites. These are not discrete failures, but systemic collapse manifesting across every major function of state government.
I believe that adds up to $78 billion. That is open and notorious, as they say. Who knows what we will find? Anyway, folks, man, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. Let me tell you, last night at 2:30 in the morning, I got a screenshot of some of the videos I was seeing about Venezuela. Maduro opens talks with Trump, offers U.S. access to Venezuela's whatever. That was the New York Post. 14 hours before the strike. 9 hours before the strike. Venezuela has detained several Americans as tensions with U.S. rise. Did you all know that? That was going on last night. These were videos that were posted yesterday. So if he was detaining several Americans, that made Trump say, go, go, go. Okay, Geronimo, time to head out. This is Midas Trash Network. This was their live stream. At 2:30 in the morning, they had 17,000 lunatics watching. 17,000 Trump bashers. When this creepy freak with Midas Trash was saying horrible things while our service members were in harm's way. Disgusting. So anyway, Trump is exposing that he exposed today. I can play it tomorrow. We have, I'll show you. Here they are again, Midas Trash Pail right here. What world are they living in? This was about an hour before I set up my studio. According to Midas Trash Pail Network, Trump's invasion backfires. Gets 179,000 views in 56 minutes. Oh, really, Cole? Well, tell Tammy I said thank you. But anyway, how in the hell did it backfire? Trump faces instant backlash after unlawful war. Boy, I hope this bunch gets in some sticky wicket, whether it's civil or whatever it is, for their vitriolic rhetoric. That's the kind of garbage they were putting up. Look at this garbage here. Just before I went live, I went and got these videos. What they were pumping out. All hell breaks loose as Maduro captured. 628,000 views. Subpoena hits medical records. Why the hell do they want his medical records? You can see with your own damn eyes. House demands urgent hearings. What house? Eric Swalwell? Ilhan Omar? People that don't even belong in the House of Representatives? Disaster interview. What? Trump gives unhinged. But this is what, 743,000 views. Again, Trump holds disaster press conference. Did you all watch that press conference? Did you see anything out of the ordinary? It was wonderful. Dems strike back after invasion, showing Ocasio-Cortez. And they're all, oh boy, Trump is really going to get it now. That's why I put in my comments, the left is nauseating. They're absolutely nauseating. I mean, real Americans are thrilled that this has happened. Trump posted this from Laura Loomer. And I'm putting it out there because I know a lot of people, they don't like Laura Loomer or whatever. I don't watch her shows. But how much street cred can you get? How much more street cred can you get? Trump putting your post up. She said, I don't know what it is, but Trump just makes me feel so pumped up to be an American. He makes it very exciting to be an American. Thank you, President Trump, the greatest president we have ever had. Compare that to Midas Trash Pail. Just a bunch of anti-American psychos. And man, I tell you what, I like them to have me a guest on their show. I'd do a face reveal to get on that show. Say, hi, Roland. Lone Wolf, nice to see you. Stanton's here. Bed Higgin, nice to see you. Who that? Anybody I miss? I apologize. But anyway, here's a nice young man in Venezuela thanking people, thanking the American people. So I hope you enjoy this video. It's a part of history, folks. This is images that are counter to what these nefarious Marxist infiltrators, propagandists, and illegal psychological warfare campaign operators are putting out. This is the truth. This is real. What do I always say, folks? I say thank you for spending your precious time with me. And I probably won't be going live tomorrow night because I did a special live tonight. But I might. You never know. If you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live. You hit the notification bell. And if you haven't subscribed, what's wrong? Why not? And don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Ha, ha, ha. I do appreciate it. So you all enjoy this video. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
I just want to talk to you, America.
Guys, history is being made in real time. There are hundreds of people here. And tell me, why did you want to be out here?
Well, okay, before I begin, I just want to talk to you, America, and I hope you have your coffee when I tell you this, but these are great news. All eyes on Venezuela. These are historical news. This is history in the making. I mean, my chest, it feels like it's gonna explode with joy. Like, just created an opportunity for us to begin working harder than ever, because that but you know, we also have worked so hard here in the United States to build so much things, and I just want to thank you, America. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to work. Yeah, come celebrate with us. We love everybody because you, America, has loved us so much. So much. Thank you, America.